Hey guys, the soundtrack for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has finally been released along with the movie. The soundtrack is by Zimmer, The Magnificent Six, Pharrell Williams and Johnny Marr, and featuring other artists like Alicia Keys and Kendrick Lamar. I personally love listening to movie soundtracks. I love the soundtrack of The First Amazing Spider-Man by James Horner. I absolutely love that soundtrack actually. It's my favourite soundtrack to date that I have actually heard. And I have a lot of soundtracks on my iPhone and my iPod and on iTunes and all that. I just love listening to movie soundtracks in general. So I was really looking forward to this soundtrack, especially after the soundtrack for the first movie. But on this soundtrack, we get 32 songs in total. I think about 6 or 7 of those songs are sung by artists like Alicia Keys and Pharrell Williams, and the rest of the soundtrack is the music we hear in the background throughout the film. And it's a pretty good soundtrack. Some songs seem a bit weird at times, but for now I'm just going to talk about the songs that we hear in the background. One of the first songs on the soundtrack is titled I Am Spider-Man, and this is basically Spider-Man's theme for the movie, and I really enjoyed listening to it. We also get to hear a pretty cool song which we hear after Electro first gets his powers and during the Times Square fight scene. Besides Spidey's theme, my other favourite track on this soundtrack is a piece of music we hear late in the movie and is during a very sad moment in the film. Yes, it is a very slow song, but it is very touching when you think about the scene that this piece of music takes place in the movie, and that's probably the reason I really enjoy this piece of music. And now for the sung songs on this soundtrack, I have 2 favourites out of those 6 or 7 sung songs. One is by Alicia Keys and the other is by Pharrell Williams, but here's Alicia Keys featuring Kendrick Lamar, It's On Again.
I am a freedom fighter, the name that history wrote, and even through disaster, eye of the tiger for hope. I'm trying to find my way back, there's no day off for heroes, and even when I'm tired, go is the only way.
And like I said, my other favourite song by Pharrell Williams, named Here.
To go there and die, I promise on all existence, if it breathes then it is our witness, we have unfinished business, you and I.
One of my favourite things about this soundtrack is definitely the mix of different songs. There's sung songs with which are slow and some are fast paced, and then there are some songs that are all techno and remixes and trumpets, and there's a whole mix of different types of styles of music in this soundtrack, which I really like, and it's probably one of the things that interests me most about the soundtrack. And I'm glad that Mark Webb chose Hans Zimmer to do this soundtrack, especially since he was trying to make this soundtrack feel more like it's part of today's world and make it contemporary. And I definitely recommend listening to the soundtrack. Just give it a go. And I know some people that I know that don't like soundtracks, like movie soundtracks, but I show them some of the songs like by Pharrell Williams and Alicia Keys, and they like those ones. So if you're not a fan of movie soundtracks, maybe give the sung songs a go and see if you like them. So I definitely recommend this soundtrack. I also recommend the first Amazing Spider-Man movie soundtrack because I absolutely love that soundtrack. So give the soundtrack a go. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it's so contemporary and has different styles of music. And please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.